Hello everybody, Tiri back again with another video, the second video for today. Oh boy, we have four last men standing at the tournament at the French Open 2021. And are we all surprised or not? Of course not. You guys who follow my channel remember 2 weeks ago when I did my preview, when I did my top 8 favorite list like I always do in big tournaments. Who was my top 4 guys? Who was my top 4? If you don't remember, I'm gonna remind you. On number 4th place, I had Alexander Sasha Zverev. On number 3rd place, I had Novak Djokovic. On number 2nd place, I had Stefanos Tsitsipas. And on my number 1 place, I had, of course, Rafa Nadal, the man to beat, which is always the case when Rafa Nadal plays clay court tennis, no matter where he plays it, especially in Paris, over 5 sets. And I had my reasons for having these 4 dudes at the semifinal stages, because they are the best. These 4 are the best clay court players in the world, without any shadow of a doubt, and that's why, and they have proved it by taking themselves, all 4 of them, to the semifinal stage. I did a little mistake when I went against Tsitsipas in the quarterfinal against Medvedev. I analyzed that matchup wrongly. I admit that. That was my little mistake I did. But I didn't give Medvedev too much of an edge, to be quite honest. I gave Medvedev 51% of chances and Tsitsipas 49% of the chances. So you can say it was more even Steven on my who I was giving more chances. So I gave Medvedev only 2% more of chances to win that match. But of course, Tsitsipas completely proved me wrong, and Medvedev was really weak and flat in that match. So, in the end of the day, it was these 4 players that I truly believed will make it far in French Open and will play those semifinals. And here we are, my tennis fans all around the world. We have them in the semifinals. The matchup that we are having on Friday is, of course, Alexander Sasha Zverev versus Stefanos Tsitsipas, the young, super talented Greek versus the big hitting double fault specialist Alexander Sasha Zverev from Germany, the 22 years old Stefanos Tsitsipas versus the 24 years old Alexander Sasha Zverev. And then, of course, then we have the icons, the legends, the giants, the goats, the blockbuster one. And the matchup I'm talking about, of course, is the very hyped and anticipated and expected semifinals, and a dream semifinal. It should have been a final, in my opinion, but it is a semifinal, and it is, as long as they face each other, it is great, in my opinion. As long as we see these two battle it out in the big tournaments, in the later stages of the rounds, which is, of course, the semifinal is a late stage of a round, not as late as final, of course, but it still is late stage of a round. And the players I'm talking about is, of course, Rafael Nadal, the clay court goat, the clay court machine, the clay court beast, the clay court monster, the clay court cyborg against, in my opinion, the most all-round, the most complete, the world number 1, Novak Djokovic. They will battle it out on Friday. I can't wait, my tennis fans all around the world. I've talked about these 2 matchups all 4 minutes because you can see how excited I am for these 2 to meet. I know that Rafael Nadal, he owns Novak Djokovic on clay court matches. At least he has done that the last 5 years. Last time Novak defeated Rafa in a clay court match was 5 years ago in Rome in a quarterfinal. But it doesn't matter. When these 2 face each other, it is always a new challenge. It is always a new match. Everything can happen. It is a new tennis match, and you need to start from scratch and to win 3 sets. And I just can't wait for that blockbuster match to start on Friday. It doesn't get better than this, my tennis fans all around the world. Rafael Nadal is going for his 14th French Open final. Yeah, Rafael is going for his 14th French Open final, and Novak Djokovic is going for his. He has played 3 French Open finals against Rafa Nadal. Yeah, if I'm mistaken, he has lost 3 of them. He has lost against Stan. One has won against Murray. Novak Djokovic is going for his 6th French Open final. For his 6th. Alright guys, let's start this video to try to preview these two really excited semifinals that we have ahead of us tomorrow. And let's start first with the young gents semifinals. I always want to keep the more excited, with the more hyped one last. Yeah, Sasha Zverev versus Stefan Tsitsipas. The head-to-head is 5-2 to Tsitsipas. They have faced each other 7 times, like the numbers are saying, and it is 5-2 on the favor to Tsitsipas. They faced each other only 1 time on clay, if I'm not mistaken. It was 2 years ago in Madrid, and Tsitsipas was the winner in that battle in 3 sets. Before this event had started, Tsitsipas, he has been one of top 3 favorites, like you have seen my video 2 weeks ago, and he is one of the best clay court players in the world. He won his first ever Master 1000 title a couple of months ago in Monte Carlo, and it is not a surprise that his first ever Master 1000 title comes on clay, because in my opinion clay is probably his best surface. So Tsitsipas, he loves playing on clay. He can go around and hit so many forehands. He has time going around on clay, hitting those inside, those running forehands, those inside forehands, those down the line forehands, you name it. Tsitsipas serve plus forehands are one of the best in the world, together with Nadal and Berrettini, I should say. So that is how Tsitsipas is so successful on this surface, with his serve plus forehands. Unbelievable points that he does, and of course he has time to return better on clay, because it is a slower surface. So he does a much better returning job on clay than he does on hard court and on grass, because he has the time. Then he has improved his backhand, especially this year. His backhand used to be a really weakness in Stefanos Tsitsipas' game before. It still is. He still doesn't hit his backhand, and not even near as good as he hitting his beloved forehand. But he has cut down his errors with that side. Stefanos Tsitsipas, he doesn't do tremendously many winners with his backhand, I must admit, but at least he is not doing many errors. As long as he doesn't doing errors, and he pushes and he takes the ball into the court, he has really chances to be successful as tennis player. Just ask Rafa Nadal. Rafa Nadal doesn't do necessarily many backhand winners. He doesn't, guys. But Rafa Nadal's backhand is rock solid. He doesn't do error with that shot. The biggest damage Rafa does is with his forehand, of course. Rafa Nadal is a similar player, and he has similar success as Stefanos Tsitsipas. He tries to win points with serve plus forehand. But Rafa Nadal, of course, has many other assets in his game that Tsitsipas doesn't have. That's why Rafa Nadal is who is on clay, and Tsitsipas not. But Tsitsipas is 22 years old, so he has time on his side to also be successful on clay in the future. But of course, he will never be as successful as Rafa Nadal has been at this French Open event. Who will be? Nobody. Nobody will even match Rafa Nadal's numbers in French Open. I am completely convinced about that. Anyway, and Tsitsipas will face Zverev. Zverev, who also, in my opinion, has his best surface is probably clay. He has won 4 Master 1000 titles in his career, Alexander Sasha Zverev, and 3 of them has come on clay, 2 in Madrid and 1 in Rome, and 1 on hard courts. Zverev has a big serve, especially the first serve. If Zverev lands a lot of first serves, he is really difficult to break, even on this slow surface like clay. He has a good solid backhand, Alexander Sasha Zverev. He doesn't miss a lot with that backhand. He can hit that backhand on the sleeve. If we look strokes to strokes, Zverev has a better backhand than Tsitsipas, for sure. Tsitsipas' backhand can be broken down. You don't break down Alexander Sasha Zverev's backhand way too many times. Yeah, maybe he can do some errors here and there, but in the long term, you don't break down Alexander Sasha Zverev's backhand. That is his rock solid shot. But his forehand used to be a weakness in Sasha Zverev's game, at least a couple of years ago. But he has improved. These guys improve all the time, for God's sake, guys. They are training all the time. They are professional tennis players. They want to improve because they know that they cannot have holes in their games. If you have holes, you will never go deep in these rounds, in these big events, and winning these big trophies. That's why Berrettini, if he doesn't improve his backhand and his returns, he will never be a Grand Slam champion, in my opinion, Berrettini. You need to be a complete player to win these big events. Let's face it. And they are becoming more and more complete, both Tsitsipas and Zverev. They are not complete, but they are trying to be, and they are not far away of being complete. Not far away, but they are still not, of course, complete as tennis players. So Zverev has improved his forehand. Zverev's also, another weakness that he has, of course, it is his second serve. He does a lot of double faults, even though that he didn't do that many double faults last match against Djokovic Fokina. I believe he did only, if I'm not mistaken, only 3 double faults. Alexander Sasha Zverev in that Djokovic Fokina match. So Zverev's weakness is his second serve and his forehand. His forehand he has improved, but so his forehand doesn't disappear, doesn't vanish, doesn't take vacations during matches as often as he used to do in the past. But his second serve, he has not improved it in the last 2 years. Maybe he has done he has corrected a little, and he has cut down his double faults in some matches here and there, but still he's doing a little too many double faults. Of these 4 players that are left in the tournament, I'm completely convinced that Zverev has done most double faults. I have not watched the stats, who of these 4 players who are left in the tournament, who has done most double faults, but it has to be Zverev. Zverev or Nadal, because Nadal he has done some unusual many double faults in this year's French Open. Especially against Sinner, where he did 7 double faults, Rafa Nadal. He cut down those double faults against Schwartzman. I believe Rafa did only 3 double faults against Diego. So, there you have it. Zverev's strength: serve, backhand, and his weaknesses, forehand. Even though the forehand is not a big weakness, he has improved that shot. Mostly his second serve is his biggest weakness. And Zverev can tend to be sometimes, maybe not even sometimes, even maybe many times, very passive. And when he gets passive, he will be hurt. Especially in this matchup. In this matchup against Tsitsipas, he cannot afford to be passive. Tsitsipas takes the ball early. Tsitsipas attacks the net time to time. Tsitsipas loves going round with his forehand, and he will punish you. He will hit inside forehands. He will hit down the line forehands. He will hit cross-court forehands. You name it, my tennis friends all around the world. And when Tsitsipas lands his serve, I don't care if it is first serve or second serve, he will try to hit as many forehands as possible. Tsitsipas, he tries to win points exactly in the same way as Rafa does. Rafa and Tsitsipas, they try to hit forehands immediately after the serve. Immediately. So it will be a key for Zverev to win the match. He will need to have deep returns. He will need to land a lot of returns into the play. And he needs to hold Tsitsipas on the back foot. That Tsitsipas cannot step forward and kiss that baseline, because if Tsitsipas kisses that baseline, which he will try to do, Tsitsipas is not a player who likes to defend. Probably of these 4 players, I should say Tsitsipas is the worst defender of these 4 players. Djokovic's defensive skills are legit. Rafa Nadal's defensive skills, they don't need even to be mentioned. The best defensive clay court player that we have ever seen in our lifetime, and that we will ever see. Zverev's defensive skills are really good as well. Not as good as Nadal's and Djokovic, of course, but better than Tsitsipas. So, Tsitsipas will not try to win this match by being passive. So he will try to go forward. He will try to be offensive. He will try to take the ball early. So it will be a key for Zverev to win the match. He needs to be more brave. He needs to play more offensively. He needs to have good returns with great depth. He needs to hit the second serve better. He needs to protect that second serve. He didn't protect, because if you look at who is protecting the second serve better, Tsitsipas or Zverev? Of course it is Tsitsipas who is protecting the second serve much better. I believe Tsitsipas won 75% behind the second serves against Medvedev. That is a great number, 75%. It was for sure not what Zverev was winning against Djokovic Fokina. I don't think Zverev won even over 60% behind his second serves, behind second serve against David Fokina, not even over 55%. So I know that Tsitsipas will protect the second serve better than Zverev. So Tsitsipas will win more points behind second serve than Zverev will do. That I'm pretty convinced about. And so a key for Zverev will be that Zverev needs to land a lot of first serve in, because if he lands a lot of first serve in, then Tsitsipas will not be able to attack Zverev in the rallies. But if Tsitsipas sees a lot of second serves, Zverev will not stand a chance in this match, in my opinion. If Zverev is, say, under 60% landing first serves in, Zverev will not take a set here. I don't think he will not take a set here if Zverev is under 60% in landing first serves in. So key for Zverev will be landing a lot first serves in, being offensively brave, having great returns with depth. These will be big 3 keys for Zverev to win the match. And if we look at Stefanos Tsitsipas' keys to win the match, of course, it is the same, more or less. He needs to land also a lot of first serves in, because Zverev is a good returner. Maybe Zverev is a better returner than Tsitsipas, actually. Tsitsipas also needs to land a lot of first serves in. Tsitsipas cannot give Zverev too much second serve to returns. So Tsitsipas also needs to hit a lot of first serves in. Tsitsipas also needs to be offensive, which I believe he will be. Tsitsipas is rarely passive, and also Tsitsipas also will need to return with great depth. So it is more or less the same. Serving good, returning good, and who will dictate the rallies most? Who will kiss that baseline most? And when I think about all these three key elements, serving good, returning with depth, and especially who will be more offensive, who will kiss more the baseline, I think it will be Tsitsipas. I think he will be the player who will be more offensive. I don't think he will be passive. I know that Sasha will be passive time to time. So I think that Tsitsipas, he comes through this one. I really think so. He has been playing some really good tennis. He has dropped only 1 set in 6 matches so far. Zverev has lost 2 sets in the 6 matches, if I'm not mistaken. Those 2 sets came already in the first round, when he was 2 sets down in that first round, but he came back and won that match in 5 sets. Big credit for Zverev for coming back. It is never easy coming down from 2 sets to love down in tennis. But I think that Tsitsipas, he will be the player who will be more offensive. He will take more charge into rallies, and I think he will win in 4 sets. And Tsitsipas will play his first ever Grand Slam final on Sunday. This is Tsitsipas' third straight semi-final in a major. He played the semi-final in French Open last year. Then he played the semi-final in he lost against Djokovic there in 5 sets. Then he played the semi-final in Australian Open earlier this year. Lost. He was crushed. He was outplayed against Medvedev earlier this year in semi-finals in Australian Open. In straight sets, he lost Tsitsipas, and now he's playing his 3rd straight semi-finals in a major event, Tsitsipas, and his 4 semi-finals in total. I think it is time for Tsitsipas to play his first ever Grand Slam final. I think he comes through in 4 sets. Then we have the other one, the blockbuster one, the 58th meeting between these 2 giants. Rafa Nadal versus Novak Djokovic. That will be their 9th French Open meeting. 7-1 to Rafa Nadal on the head-to-head in French Open, if I'm not mistaken. 19-7 to Rafa Nadal's favor in clay court matches. Last time they played a clay court match was in Madrid a couple of weeks ago, where Rafa won in 3 sets. Guys, we all know this matchup. We have seen it over 15 years now. It is no secret out there. No, to beat Rafa Nadal in a clay court match, especially in 5 sets, you will not do it with a horrible level, of course. He will completely destroy you if you produce a horrible level. If you take in a horrible level into the court, you will not beat him with an average level. You will not. Simple as that. You will not beat him with a good level. Simple as that. You just will not. Because he is the greatest clay court player of all time for a reason. He will not let you come away with a good level performance. You will not even beat him with a great level performance. No. In other tournaments outside French Open, yes. not in French Open. Djokovic did a pretty great level performance in Rome. He didn't win. You need to be producing a beast level performance, a la Robin Söderling 2009, a la Novak Djokovic himself 2015, where Djokovic was in a beast level performance, in my opinion. 45 winners in that quarterfinal match in 2015 French Open against Nadal, and did 30 unforced errors. So Djokovic does 15 more winners than unforced errors when he defeated Rafa Nadal 6 years ago at French Open, and he's only the second player to ever done that unbelievable achievement. The first one Robin, and the second one Novak. So it is similar things that Djokovic will need to produce on Friday. Djokovic cannot do more errors than winners. If he does that like he did in Rome. I believe Djokovic did 28 winners in Rome and 35 unforced errors. So Djokovic does 7 more seven more unforced errors than winners in that Rome final. Compared with Rafa Nadal, who did 36 winners and only 23 unforced errors. So Rafa does 13 more winners than unforced errors against Novak Djokovic in that Rome final. Djokovic needs to turn this around. For him to be on top on Friday and defeat Rafa Nadal and do this unbelievable, hard, difficult achievement and be the winner on Friday, he needs to have more winners than unforced errors with 10, 15 more. He cannot have more errors than unforced errors. He just cannot. Simple as that. Rafa doesn't let you come away with more unforced errors than winners. He didn't let Diego Schwartzman come away. I believe Diego Schwartzman did 39 unforced errors yesterday and 26 winners. Diego Schwartzman does 13 more unforced errors than winners in the match against Rafa Nadal yesterday. Did he win? No, he took one set. Look at Rafa's numbers: 35 winners, 29 unforced errors. Rafa does 6 more winners than unforced errors. Rafa, in all of his matches, in 5 matches that I've seen him, and not only this tournament, in general, Rafa Nadal, when he plays tennis, more or less in all surfaces, but as particularly on clay, of course, he always does more winners than unforced errors. And that's why he wins majority of his clay court matches. Many people believe that Rafa only wins because of his such a physical beast, only because of his physicality abilities. No, that is not true. He's a physical beast. That is true, but it's not the only reason he was winning. He's winning because he's playing superior tennis, for God's sakes. He does a lot of winners. He does little unforced errors. Not maybe a lot of winners, but at least he does more winners than unforced errors. So Djokovic, to be successful on Friday, he needs to change this. He cannot have more unforced errors than winners. That is a big key for Djokovic. Because in my opinion, Djokovic is the underdog on Friday. Let's face it. It is Nadal who has won for 13 French Open titles. It is not Djokovic. So he needs to change this. Djokovic needs to serve good. He served really good against Berrettini. If Djokovic can land 70% first serve sin on Friday, and if he can even land a little more, over 70, 71, 72, he will have big chances of winning. You don't beat Nadal with a weak serve, with a little first percentage of first serve sin. You just don't beat him. I believe Schwartzman landed 63% first serve sin against Nadal, and he didn't beat him. You just don't. Simple as that. You just don't. You need to have a huge, big serve. Djokovic doesn't have a huge, big serve a la Berrettini or a la Söderling, but he has the spot serving. He can find the spots. He can find the tee. He can find the ad courts. That is what he needs to try to do. He will not ace out Rafa Nadal on Friday. He will not do over 20 aces or something like that. But he needs to find the spots that Rafa cannot do great returns, because Rafa Nadal will, of course, challenge Djokovic from the return. He will from the return game much more than Berrettini, because Berrettini, we know Berrettini is a weak returner. That's why Djokovic, he won the quarterfinal match against Berrettini without dropping his serve the entire match. That will not happen on Friday. Rafa Nadal will for sure break Novak's serve. For sure. I will be shocked if Novak wins. If Novak doesn't drop his serve in the entire match against Nadal. He will drop his serve, Novak Djokovic. He will do it. Because Nadal is a much better returner than Berrettini. Nadal doesn't want to punish you immediately in the return games. We all know how Nadal returns. He just stands 4 or 5 meters behind the baseline, and he just wants to try to take in the return. You just want to try to take the return into the court with depth, and then he starts to trade from baseline. And when he trades from baseline, he always has that murderous forehand of his. He can hit murderous winners with that forehand shot all over the court. All over the court. Rafa Nadal. I don't care if he stands 2-3 meters behind the baseline. He can hit it because he has such power. So Djokovic needs to serve good. He cannot give Rafa Nadal too many second serves. He just cannot. And he needs to land a lot of first serves in. He just needs it. That will be a big key. Big keys for Novak to cut down his errors, to do a lot of winners, to have a lot of first serves in Novak Djokovic, and maybe the most important key is to try to win the short rally battle for once against Nadal. He's losing the short rally battle. He lost the short rally battle in French Open last year. Rafa crushed him in that short rally battle in that French Open final last year. Last year, the short rally battle in that French Open final, there was 78 points that was played in the short rally battle in last year's French Open final. 78 points. Rafa wins 53 points of them, and Novak wins 25 points of them. So Rafa Nadal wins 28 more points than Novak Djokovic in that short rally battle in last year's French Open final. 28 more points than Novak Djokovic. And that's why Rafa Nadal was so superior. And that is not, of course, a surprise, because Rafa Nadal has that serve plus forehand game, serve plus forehand game, serve plus forehand game. Rafa's serve plus forehand game is, of course, much better than Novak's. So that third shot of the match is a key, and Novak needs to do a better job there. And it is hard for Novak doing a better job than Nadal, because he doesn't have such a firepower in his forehand like Nadal has. Who has it, for God's sakes? But maybe only Berrettini and Tsitsipas maybe. But Nadal's serve plus forehands are one of the best in the world. One of the best, top 3 in the world, together with Berrettini and Tsitsipas. So Djokovic's serve plus forehands are not close as great as Nadal's serve plus forehands. But Djokovic, that's why the serve will be so key for Djokovic, because if he lands the first serve, then Rafa maybe can do some short returns. And if the return is short, Djokovic is such a good of a player. He is. He doesn't hit the ball as hard as Nadal. Of course, we know that. But if Rafa lands short returns, then Djokovic can put the ball away with the forehand. And if not with the forehand, he can put the ball away with the backhand, because Djokovic has one of the greatest backhands of all time, if not the greatest backhand of all time. So that's why Djokovic's key is to land a lot of first serves, because if he doesn't, then I can see Djokovic not even standing a chance in winning that short rally battle. Like Nadal dominated that short rally battle final last year in French Open. He dominated. Like I said, 78 points was played on 0-4 shots. Rafa was winning 53 of those points, or Novak was winning 25 points, 25 of those points. So Rafa wins 28 more points in that short rally battle in that last year's French Open final. Fast forward, Rome final. And Djokovic did a better job here. Yeah, of course, it was a more even match. Obviously, because Djokovic took a set, compared that with in that French Open final last year, where Djokovic only took 7 games. In the short rally battle here, Djokovic did a much better job. 86 points was played in the short rally battle in that Rome final. So actually, it was played more points in the short rally battle in the Rome final than it did in French Open final last year. Obviously, because it was a more even, close match in Rome final a couple of weeks ago. 86 points was played, and Rafa wins 50 of those points. So Rafa, of course, still superior in the short rally battle. 50 of those points. Novak wins 36. Novak has done a better job. So the difference is not as huge as it was in French Open last year. The difference is still in Rafa's favor, of course, but not as huge as it was in the French Open final last year. In the Rome final, Rafa wins only 14 more points in the short rally battle. Compare that with the French Open final last year, where Rafa wins 28 more points than Novak Djokovic in the short rally battle. So Novak, he needs to try to do this even better, because Rafa will try to hold the point short. Because when it comes to longer rallies, Novak challenges Rafa really good. Maybe he even is better over 5 shots, when the rally goes over 5 shots. If you look at the Rome final, when the rally was over 9 shots, Novak actually was dominating. I think it was 25 points, 25 points was played over 9 shots in that Rome final. Novak was winning 20 of those points. Rafa was winning, I believe, 5 of those points. So Novak was dominating those longer rallies. But Nadal will not be interested to keep the ball over 9 shots. He will not. He knows that Novak is really, really dangerous. When Novak goes in that lockdown mode, and when he goes in that don't miss mode, Nadal will not be that. He will not love those kind of situations. He really will not love. If you look at the French Open, over 5 shots rallies, they played actually 105 points over 5 shots in that French Open final last year. Rafa was on top there, but not with much. Rafa won 53 of those points, Djokovic won 52 of those points, when the rally was over 5 shots. So obviously Novak challenges Rafa Nadal much more when the rallies goes over 5 shots. But when the rallies is between 0 to 4 shots, Novak is losing those battles. He lost with huge margins in French Open final. He took down the margins much more less in that Rome final. So that is what Novak needs to try to do. He needs to try to win those short rally battles. Because, guys, look, in tennis, the majority of matches you win. When you win a tennis match, you have won the short rally battle. Not always. It is not always the case. But I should say 70% of the cases, when you have won the short rally battle, you will 70% of the cases win the tennis match as well. And this is not only on clay, actually. Many people believe that just because clay is a slower surface than hardcourt and grass, you need to be successful in the long rallies. Actually, that is not true. You need to be successful, of course, in long rallies as well, but the most important is to win the short rally battle. It is more important than winning the longest rallies. Because what will the majority of points will be played? Will they be played over 9 shots or between 0 to 5 shots? What will the majority of points will be played? The majority of points will be played between 0 to 5 shots. Most of the times. So that is the key. Djokovic needs to serve with high percentage of first serve seed, so Rafa cannot have great returns with great depth, because Djokovic cannot finish off the points if Rafa has great depth. He just cannot. He cannot. He doesn't have that firepower. He lacks firepower. Djokovic needs to land first serve seed, a lot of those, so he can have short returns and then try to put away the ball with forehand or backhand. So that is the key. Djokovic needs to return good. He was not returning marvelously good in that French Open final last year. Rafa won that return battle, actually. Djokovic is a better returner than Nadal usually, but not in that French Open final last year. Nadal was superior. He was in beast mode level. So let's see if Rafa will be in that beast mode level on Friday. If Rafa plays on Friday like he did in that towards the end of the third set against Diego, and the whole fourth set where his forehand was out of this planet good, Djokovic will not stand a chance. He needs to face a more human Nadal on Friday. For Djokovic's hope is, let's see if Rafa is human on Friday, and let's see if Rafa can get nervous. Because Rafa Nadal, one thing that I've noticed with Rafa in this year's French Open, he has not been serving as great in this year's French Open that I've seen him in previous years. He served pretty good against Diego. He landed 66% first serve seed against Diego, and won 73% behind those first serve seed. Rafa Nadal, and 68% behind the second serves against Diego. But Diego is a pretty good returner, I must say. He is. But Djokovic, he is the best returner of all time. So Djokovic is a better returner than Diego. So Djokovic needs to do a better return job than he did in last year's French Open final, for sure. He needs to get into Rafa's service games. Rafa has lost serve in all of his 5 matches during this French Open tournament so far, I believe, yeah. I don't think Rafa has won any single match without dropping his serve. So Djokovic, he also will have great chances of breaking Rafa's serve. Diego broke Rafa's serve 3 times yesterday. So if Diego could break Rafa's serve 3 times, Djokovic also should be able to break Rafa's serve at least 3 times, maybe even more, 4 or 5 times, because Djokovic is a better returner than Diego. But the thing is that Djokovic needs to protect his serve, because Rafa has lost serve a lot of times this year's French Open, yes. But he has also braked serve a lot of time, because Rafa, he is a good returner, and he returns with great depth, and he tries just to put the return into the play, and when he puts the return into the play, Rafa will have all the chances in the world winning points with that murderous forehand that he has. And another big key, this may be the biggest key of the match, Djokovic needs to be hitting his backhand so good. Like always, my tennis fans all around the world, Nadal will attack Novak's backhand, even though that Novak has one of the best backhands in the world, if not the best backhand in the world. He's not hitting his backhand as good, as solid, as clean, free like he used to do 5-10 years ago. And that's why Djokovic has not defeated Rafa in 5 years on clay now, because Novak Djokovic cannot protect the backhand. He did a pretty good job protecting his backhand in that Rome final. Much better job than he did in French Open final. But still, he needs to be firing on his backhand even better, because it doesn't get bigger than this. To defeat Rafa Nadal in French Open, like I said in the beginning of the video, you need to produce a beast mode level. Rafa doesn't let you come away with horrible mode level, not with average mode level, not with good mode level, not with great mode level. You need to produce a beast mode level, and Novak Djokovic's backhand needs to be a beast on Friday. Novak Djokovic, because on clay the ball bounces higher, so Novak, he will hit a lot of backhand up on the shoulder here. So Novak has 2 options here: take 1 or 2 steps back and try to let the ball land little. I don't like that option in my opinion, because then he will be further back of the court, and when you're further back of the court, it is harder hitting shots with length, with depth. I should suggest, if I was Novak's coach or in his team, do the opposite. Come closer to the baseline, like Tsitsipas actually does when he faces Rafa Nadal. But Tsitsipas is a bigger dude, so it is easier for Tsitsipas taking his backhand, even though Tsitsipas has a weaker backhand than Djokovic. But Tsitsipas is a bigger dude, so it is for Tsitsipas, the Rafa's shots stays lower because Tsitsipas is bigger than Djokovic. But Djokovic, he needs to take 1 step or 2 steps further closer to the baseline and try taking Rafa's topspin forehands on the rise. Easier said than done, but for me it is a better option than going back 2-3 meters behind the baseline and trying to hit backhands when Rafa's topspin forehands stays lower on the court, because then it is harder doing great depth, and depth is the key for Novak. Novak cannot give Rafa short balls. If he gives Rafa short balls, Novak is toast. Novak is toast. Rafa will just hammer that forehand, inside forehand, down the line forehand, cross court forehands, running forehand, you name it, for God's sake. Novak's key to win: lot of first serves in, great depth, hitting the backhand really good, returning good, and of course believing in it. He needs to believe. And of course, and one more thing I want to say: the first set is a key. When these 2 players face each other, majority of the matches, who of these 2 wins is the player who wins the first set. And the first set is more important for Novak than Nadal. I swear to you guys. If Rafa loses the first set, he can of course win the match still. He can of course, even if Rafa loses the second set, he still can turn this around. Because it is Rafa Nadal who is the better clay court player, not Djokovic. So the key for Novak is winning the first set. Novak, if he because if he wins the first set, then he makes Rafa more worried, more confused, more stressed, and Novak starts to believe it even more. Novak believes he can win. I believe him when he said yesterday, I believe I can beat Rafa. If I didn't believe, I would not be here. But if he wins the first set, his belief gets even bigger. So the first set is a key for Novak. And Rafa's keys, of course, like Rafa always does, he also needs to serve good. He needs to have over 65% first serve in. If Rafa is under 65% first serve in, he will give Novak Djokovic a lot of chances to take his teeth into Rafa's service games. He needs to hit his forehand like he did in the 3rd set against Diego Schwartzman, especially after that 4-all game and in the entire 4th set. Rafa's forehand needs to be on fire. Rafa needs to play a great serve plus forehands match, which he 99% of the time does. That is Rafa's keys. Rafa, of course, is the favorite here, but I think Novak has a chance. I really think Novak has a chance. He's not an 18-time Grand Slam champion without any reason. Novak Djokovic has a chance. If Novak can do these 5 things great, 5 or 6 keys, winning the first set, serving good, returning good, winning the short rally battle, and having great depth on his shots, he can win this match. I swear that to you guys, he can win. But if he doesn't do these 5-6 things good, these 5-6 keys moments good, he will not win the match. And hitting the backhand, I should not say, hitting the backhand really good with down the line backhands, cross-court backhands, yeah, you name it. Novak's backhand needs to be on fire the entire match. And of course, play a good, consistent match throughout. I have seen it many times. Players take one set from Rafa Nadal, challenging Rafa Nadal for 1 hour or for 1 hour and a half, but they then fade away. Novak cannot fade away. He needs to be on his toes from the first to the last one. Like he said when he came to French Open. Do you know what he said when he came to French Open before the event started? He said, if you don't match Rafa Nadal's level, you don't stand a chance against him on clay. You need to match him. Rafa always stays up here, even though when he's 35 years old, sometimes he goes down. He's human, for God's sakes. He's not 25 years old anymore. But still, nobody stays atop throughout the match on clay court, especially on 5 sets, as Rafa does. Djokovic needs to match up that level. He cannot be up and down, up and down. He needs to be against Nadal toe-to-toe. And if he is up here against Nadal toe-to-toe the entire match from the first to the last point, then he has big chances of winning. But when I think about all this when I analyze all these things, I still cannot see Djokovic defeating Nadal. Nadal has a better forehand than Novak Djokovic. Nadal does less unforced errors than Novak Djokovic. Nadal always squeezes a lot of unforced errors from all his opponents, and also including Novak Djokovic. So in the end of the day, when the match will be over, I think Novak will do more errors than Rafa Nadal. And I think Nadal will do more winners than Novak Djokovic. Rafa will once again win that short rally battle. I don't think that Novak will win that short rally battle, even though he did a great job in that Rome final and made that short rally battle more even. But in the end of the day, I still think that Rafa's forehand will be the dominant shot on Friday. Rafa's forehand is Novak Djokovic does not even have near as a good forehand as Rafa Nadal, who has not many players. Maybe only Berrettini and Tsitsipas. So I can't see how Novak will win that short rally battle. Only way how he can win that short rally battle is if Novak lands over 70% first serve sin and Rafa doesn't make great returns with great depth. But I don't think Djokovic will land over 70% first serve sin. I think Djokovic will land between 60 to 65% first serve sin. Maybe 60 to 67, but that will not be enough. Not against Nadal, not against the greatest clay court player of all time. Novak needs to be over 70% in landing first serve sin, and if he does that, then he will have all the chances in the world to defeat Rafa Nadal. But I don't think, because then probably Nadal will not make great returns with great depth all the time. Maybe sometimes, time to time, but not all the time. So I think that Nadal will win that short rally battle. I think Nadal's forehand will be firing on court on Friday. I think Nadal will do less unforced errors than Novak Djokovic on Friday. I think Rafa Nadal will do more winners than Novak Djokovic on Friday. And I think Rafa Nadal will be a player who will stay up here at the top throughout the match more than Djokovic. Djokovic will stay up. He will match Rafa's level time to time for 1 set or 2 sets, for 1 hour or 2 hours, maybe even for 3 hours. I will not be surprised. Djokovic is a beast, man. It takes a beast to take down another beast. So I will not be surprised if Novak wins this match. I will not be surprised, guys. I have tremendously great respect for Novak Djokovic. He is for me, the most complete tennis player of all time. But I just don't think that Novak will be able to stay with Nadal throughout the match in the level. up here. Like, you see what happened with Diego. He stayed with Nadal for 3 sets, for 2.5 sets, I should say more. But after that 3-4 game in the third set, Rafa won 9 straight games. Because Rafa always stays here. And Rafa has that 6th gear. He always has that 6th gear. And I think Rafa will play with his 6th gear from the start on Friday. He knows. He knows. I'm facing a GOAT here. I cannot play with the 3rd or 4th gear from the start. So Djokovic, he needs to be on his toes already from the first ball, from the first point. So Nadal is a beast. I will take Nadal. I think Nadal comes through in 4 sets on Friday. So I think we'll have a final on Sunday between Rafa Nadal versus Stefan Tsitsipas. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this long 45 minutes preview video about the semifinals. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and see you next time. Peace!